Hey, Jamie.
Right.
So I really want to express to everyone that the reason why the channel went dark is so complicated and long form that I would rather take a few weeks to publish some amazing shorts and some really funny videos that show who I am as a human being and what I want out of our society in the future, because I have 2 months until the president takes office, at which point we have to immediately address the issues that have been going on in the New Jersey legal community, who have fully run amok and are out of control for their judicial power that they have. And Donald Trump, as a president, personally understands the power the corrupt politicians and judges have over regular human beings because of what he experienced for the 4 short years that he wasn't president. And I was not a Trump supporter or any of that stuff until my personal life was affected by a political agenda, and a political agenda that really exemplifies the rottenness of the system that we rely on since childhood. We pledge our allegiance to the flag and are indoctrinated into believing that presidents and politicians are good human beings, but in the one short bleep of a generation where we see things in a digital form, we no longer trust the U.S. government. So I need to be able to create a systemic way for the United people to start trusting the government, but that requires a little bit of thought. So what I needed to do was to show everyone, hey, I'm Dan Reeses, and because of a YouTube channel and your fear, you have mistreated and abused me. I was able to simply prove this by removing the content and still being here as the same person. Ta-da! That's it. That's it. Ta-da! That's it. So everyone who has assumed that I was mentally ill simply doesn't understand, or has never been in a very scary place called a real mental asylum and understood how serious and severe humans that are traumatized for many reasons or are born sick. And the movie Joker, the new one, let's call it, with Lady Gaga, really goes into the psyche of what it's like to be in a modern day penal institution that is mental health based, and the difficulties of recovery, which is ultimately what we want as a humanity. Why do we want to create a system that makes crazy people crazier?
Right.
We want to foster recovery. And remember, that's just a movie. But in the sad reality of the world we live in, our current president is often compared to the Joker in the Heath Ledger character with the grenades right over here, with the billboard, and we are finding ourselves constantly looking for reasons to push our hate towards other human beings.
Yes.
The YouTube channel and the silence of the YouTube channel is nothing more than a statement that no human being can deny. And that statement is, you care what people think about the content more than your own opinion. If you watch my YouTube channel and were disgusted by it, it means that you value the opinion of other people watching it and being disgusted by it than the reality of
what
me
the content
being.
is.
That's correct. Meaning that if you actually thought I was mentally ill or had some sort of a sickness, you would address it at the root.
Happened to you.
Right. And by simply denying the reality of everything that happened to me and addressing only the way I communicate how they happen, it just shows the true colors of every human being that's in my life. And it really allows everyone to now look at me who meets me that does not have access to any of these videos. So they will only meet the really nice guy, the entrepreneur, the dad that's trying to do the best he can to deal with it's the largest political corruption scandal in U.S. history, and the guy that's making this video right now is a victim of it. So when you're the victim of not just a crime of moral turpitude, but a victim of the largest corruption scandal, you say to yourself, well, why am I not as upset about it? Well, the truth is that when my mother robbed me of my life savings from within her business, which was part of my equity and the business that I was going to supposedly inherit, My mother caused me to have a mental breakdown, and I wanted to wait until the videos went dark to explain that I never lied about anything that I said. Everything was 100% true. Unlike the Joker in the movie, he changes his position and explains that he is crazy, that he's not crazy. I'm not crazy. At no time have I ever said it's crazy. The closest thing to, if you want to classify me, is hypomania. And what I am is a human being that loves life. I am fast talking, fast thinking, and I'm even faster in acting. And this is not an act. It takes a lot of balls to be able to say, look, if your mother, if you just spend 30 years taking care of your mother, and the second that you show a sign of weakness, your mother goes and orchestrates a plan to rob you of everything that you are owed because it is your own property, what chance do you have of law enforcement taking you serious?
Yeah.
Since you're judged by your content of the YouTube channel. So the YouTube channel was misdirection, because my goal was to show that, hey, in the United States, we tolerate crime as long as it's against the person that we don't like.
Yeah.
That's what that statement was.
Good statement, yeah.
And that's what the whole point of it is. Now that the YouTube content is gone, I am nothing more than just a dude that is faced with a really big problem, and I want to spend a couple of days cleaning up my life because it's a mess, figuratively and literally. And then I'm going to figure out how I want to display my character of the recovery, because everybody loves a comeback story, as I was able to prove with the narrative of the US president.
They do.
And 4 years ago when I started this channel, a lot of people laughed at me, but I simply have predicted the majority of everything that has happened, as well as who the president was going to be and why and all this other stuff. I've even told you who the president in 2028 is going to be, and it's going to be J.D. Vance versus Matthew McConaughey and or some other charismatic actor that can carry an audience. And that's really what we as the American public want. We want a hero. We want someone that has the ability to create an image of helping the little man. And Donald Trump is going to have big shoes to fill. He built them himself. Not clown shoes, obviously.
You're right, yeah.
But very, very large shoes. And I, as someone who supports...
He has to knock it out of the park.
Yeah, I support...
Time around, right?
And he has to do it kindly.
Yeah.
I think he'll be able to do it. I think he'll be able to do it. I have a lot of faith in the President of the United States, and unfortunately I had to have a lot of faith in the previous President of the United States. And as I've said many times before, that a human being's mental state... I see this perfect pawn? I own this name. I thought of this name. It's my invention. There's a series of trademarks that I own, and I want to remind everyone that cyber squatting and registering a trademark that you do not own is beyond illegal, and litigation is not something I'm trying to actively engage in. But when you find yourself inventing things and it being stolen from you, it really adds insult to injury, and it crosses the line of why we in America value copyright laws so much.
Yeah.
Because originality is really the highest form of intelligence. So when you have smart people that invent things, they want to make sure that the rights are protected. And the reason why I say this is because there's a series of corporations that will be forced to dissolve in order to represent myself in court, since the assets of the corporation are 100% owned by me. As I've said multiple times, I'm just a regular guy. I am nothing special. I am nothing more than a regular guy who found himself with an opportunity to display the truth about his other job via YouTube, which created a narrative inside of people's brains that I am both weak and mentally ill, so that they were able to simply steal from me.
Yeah.
Thank you. See, she adds so much to the conversation. And the sheer negligence of the U.S. government and their complete ignorance of the fact that we will get to a place where a very, very staunch Republican, angry president is about to take office. That reality simply never sunk in, because the probabilities of that happening were close to zero when this entire domino effect started to take place. So now we find ourselves with Senator Bob Menendez about to go to prison, Fred Davies about to go to prison,
Yes, we do.
and Donald Trump is the president of the United States that's going to be dealt his office, not him directly, but his office, and everything that trickles down from that is going to be dealing with the largest pro se white collar fraud victim in history. I am the largest victim. I understand this doesn't make any sense because we as a society have only valued people that con other people, like Mark Shapiro. And guys like that are marveled at the amount of victims like Bernie Madoff they're able to have. But when a victim is able to be the victim continuously, we deny their rights. The Whistleblower Act does not apply to me. The U.S. Constitution somehow does not apply to me. And due process does not apply to you. But in due time, with the changing of the guards, I will be able to have my rights restored because, believe it or not, Mr. Donald Trump and I, we simply went through the same series of events, except I was not charged criminally because I not only didn't do anything, I was worth so much money that it was much easier for people to steal from me and then ignore me rather than causing any damage, which would then prove my case further. So does that make any sense?
Yeah.
So my name is Dan Reeses, and I'm restarting my life starting November 6th, which is today. There's no reason to wait. The content that I'm going to film is going to be all positive. My goal is to be a role model. I've never hurt directly a human being in my life. Indirectly, I apologize for anyone who's been butthurt from me spending 4 years speaking the truth into YouTube. That simply is nothing more that shows the weakness of your character and how easily you are susceptible and manipulated by simply listening to the truth. Forget about the fact that you weren't able to have the balls to respond to anything I said or ever prove me wrong. My name is Dan Reeses, and
I'm Jamie.
misdirection herself. Peace.